Goff up under center. Turns, gives. Jamal Williams lost the football and Dallas recovers. Are you kidding me? Recovered by Anthony Barr inside the 1 yard line. From what looked like a go-ahead touchdown to a crushing turnover, Dallas has got it back.
Live from downtown Detroit, it's No BS News Hour with my main man, LeDuff. No bullshit.
What the fuck, Mark?
I know, they're pretty bad.
It's not even Halloween and the Lions are out of it again.
I saw a guy that had a shirt with lions on it, using the letters as acronyms. Losing is our name.
Oh.
They find so many ways to lose.
I don't know why you all keep expecting something different. It's the same thing. It's the same thing every week, every year.
Because it's still the NFL. Any team can win any day.
Change the channel.
Man, we need something here. Like that, that's like Dan Miller. That's generational. Dan Miller is like Hall of Fame worthy.
He's great.
Isn't he?
Yeah, he's really, really good.
And how long's he been doing it? 20 years?
Yeah.
How many losing games has this guy called?
I know, in so many different ways.
Probably
too.
more than anybody in a generation. And he still makes it interesting.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm up north. I'm driving back. I got him on XM radio. And just before that call, Dan's a pro, but Dan can screw up too. And he's like, and then the throw to Mitchell, the tight end, and he makes the move. He goes to the left. He's in touchdown. Oh, wait a minute. Is he in? Oh, he's down at the half-yard line.
It was such a Lions way. Yeah, but he did his touchdown Detroit Lions line. And
then he's a pro, and he's like, okay, it's, first and goal from the half-yard line. Let's do this. The ball snap, handoff, fumble. Oh, no.
Lions fans need an award because they are tried and true, and no matter how much they lose, they continue to show up and cheer and hope for the best and leave and go home disappointed.
What's the matter with these people? I mean, they all flew down to Dallas.
These people?
Yeah.
I mean, me? I'm a Lions fan.
Do you fly to Dallas?
No, I'm not that
Waste
big
your
of a Lions
hard-earned
fan.
money?
No.
Look, I remember, this is how far back. I must have been 6. It was Thanksgiving. And Grandpa, we had dinner, then the Lions are on, and the women are cleaning the table, and he says...
Women are cleaning the
Yep.
Like they're supposed to.
And they start doing the dishes.
How sexist is this story?
Sexist is this shit. What are you talking about? This is my grandpa. This is 50 years ago. Let me finish the story of Grandpa. And it's not sexist because here's what he taught me. So we're watching the Lions, right?
Yeah.
It's halftime. And we get up and he goes, come on. And we go into the kitchen and he says, ladies, is there anything we can do to help? It's my mom and my aunts and my grandma. And they said, no, Pa, we got it. And he goes, okay. And he turns around and he hits me on the shoulder, his elbow, goes, you see that? That's generational stuff. Now, this had to be what? Like early 70s. And they hadn't won a title in 15 years.
Yep.
And here we are.
My grandpa went to the grave. My father went to the grave. I'm going to go to the fucking grave. And I'm paying for these losers.
Pretty much.
Someday it'll happen and this city will lose its mind. I might be 85.
No, they won't. They'll be in shock. They won't even be able to do anything.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Look, man, 5 turnovers.
Yep.
5 sacks. The record is now 1-5. That's the worst in the NFL. Mm-hmm. They're in last place in the NFL again. And Dan Campbell, the new coach, I'll bite your kneecaps off.
Yeah, Mr. Grit.
What's this guy's record now? It's like 3 wins last year.
1 this year, 1 tie.
Year, 13 losses last year and 5 now.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 18 and 1 tie.
I don't think the Lions want to win. I don't. I really think that has become their brand. I do, because the ownership doesn't do anything. When they had Caldwell, they got rid of him. I mean, it's just, they don't want to win. They just don't. They've never invested, which is why Barry Sanders left. He said, I'm through with this crap. So, I mean, this is who they are.
Caldwell went to the playoffs twice.
He did. I liked him. He was good.
His last season they were 9-7. Wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
And this is true.
It wasn't losing enough.
And this is the guy had a winning record here in playoff, appearances.
Career, yeah.
So this is true. You can't deny it.
Yeah.
When you're like an African American head coach, you got a short reign on you, right? I don't get loser after loser after 3 seasons. I just did the math. Dan Campbell's winning percentage since he's been here now, season and almost a half, is 9.5%.
And yet and still, that's what I'm saying. They don't want to win, Charlie. The ownership has never invested in, and everybody got excited. It doesn't even matter. I mean, it just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
So, speaking of Ford, so, my guest who stayed a little longer than I'd like to, and I had to
Don't they all
pick up and drive to the airport and everything, and I'm like, my kid had to go to school early, so because we're going to get nailed in rush hour, right? When you go down Southfield Freeway and you get between 96 and 94, that is a parking lot, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because Ford's headquarters is there and everything. Like, you got to give yourself an hour. It was 5 minutes. It was no traffic. Nobody is going to work at Ford's World Headquarters in Dearborn. That's, and the Fords own the Lions. This, to me, is worrisome.
Yeah, it should be.
Maybe they'll sell the Lions.
No.
They'll never sell
Maybe they're going to move them to Tennessee.
Like they did
with the battery plants and everything.
I didn't think about that. Yeah, good point.
You know what I mean? And then I drop my guest off. I hope she has a lovely flight and everything. And I get to the terminal, and it's called the Warren Cleage Evans
Yeah, they changed
Terminal, named after the current Wayne County executive. How the fuck is that possible?
What, that a current Wayne County executive has something named after? Yeah, how many airports are named after a living person?
Right, especially when you get to appoint all the, commissioners over there, and that's a graft pit.
Yep.
Like, come on with Detroit.
I know.
And then you leave, and then you get on Southfield, and you go through Allen Park, and you look at the practice facility for the Lions.
You should have gotten off and gone to the Hill.
Yeah, and then, you get downtown here, and you look up at Dan Gilbert's skyscraper, and the cranes are moving, and there's nothing on them but like a bar, and I'm like, they're going to put trapeze artists up here? Something to fucking look at?
Gee, Charlie, this is all depressing now.
Yeah. Well, look, Dan Miller and Lomas Brown. Yeah. Dan Miller's the best thing on radio, in my opinion, right?
For play-by-play, yeah, I would say so.
And Lomas Brown, the great,
Lomas
Lions.
is a nice guy.
Love him, yeah.
Offensive tackle,
really
Pro
is.
Bowler. But
Pro Bowler?
Yeah, he was a Pro
I did not
Bowler.
know that.
You didn't know
Oh,
that?
okay, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's like borderline Hall of Fame, I would think.
No, he's
blocked
great.
for Barry Sanders. But can somebody tell Lomas, you know Lomas? Tell Lomas that it's pronounced Lions, right? Not us. Not we. We need to get this. Like
that's his sense of family.
It's not professional.
But he's a lion.
I know. He's once a lion, always a lion.
Who signs his checks?
I don't know who signs his check.
The Lions do.
I guess we do because we pay and the Lions don't pay us anything.
Well, that's what he means. We, us,
That's
all of us.
Yeah, exactly.
Calling us
We're all losers.
We are.
All right. So like I'm driving. And I'm going between, sports radio and, God, some people are dopes on the sports radio. And they know more about somebody's, tackling percentage than they do about anything going on in life that's important.
Priorities.
You know what I mean? So then you jump over to, I do at least, NPR, try to get some news. And, in the breathless chicks.
Breathless.
and something's up, right? Liberal NPR breathless chicks, or the Washington Post, and now the New York Times. You're starting to see trial balloons from the Biden administration because everybody's talking about Haiti now, right?
Yeah.
And there's huge protests in the street today. They have a lot of problems. There's an unelected president there. There's calls for, I don't know if there's U.S. troops coming in. We're starting to hear there's a humanitarian crisis. It's an election coming up, but we're not really hearing anything out of the White House. So this is concerning. This should be concerning. The Mexicans and the Americans are calling for some kind of intervention force.
Yeah.
And the Mexicans, they're like, the gangs are in charge of the ports, right, in Haiti. Like, it's kind of a broken state. And the Mexicans, where the cartels are in charge of the border, are calling for intervention. This
That's concerning.
This should, I just figure we should talk a little bit about it, understand what's going on, and
how it affects us.
we're gonna go to a word from our sponsors. But before we do, I want to let you know who's coming on is Pulitzer Prize winning author, writer, Garry Pierre-Pierre, friend of mine from the New York Times. He's the founder of the Haitian Times. If there's anybody I know that knows what's going on in Haiti, because Mitch Albom wrote about Haiti, and I'm not trusting his word on it. I'm trusting Gary's. So let's hear a word from our sponsors and then invite Garry Pierre-Pierre of the Haitian Times.
Two, with everything. A side of cheese fries to go. Ready, set, go, red, go.
Detroit might not make it to the championship, but you can have a little bit of Detroit at your next championship party. American Coney Island, 12 dogs with all the fixings. Air mail special, right to your door. That includes Alaska and Hawaii. AmericanConeyIsland.com. The first, the best, and better than all the rest. And they can't fly either.
And the Lions just crash and burn.
Vegas, they got a Coney store there too. Yeah!
Hi, I'm David Hall from Hall Financial. The top-rated realtors in Michigan have said that our 5-star certified pre-approval is a game changer to the home buying process. Hall Financial's focus on speed and client service allows you to take on the housing market and win. When you're ready to purchase your new home, you need to make Hall Financial your first call. The mortgage company realtors trust and buyers love. 866-CALL-HALL or chat with us at callhallfirst.com.
Hey, Gary.
Hi, Charlie. How are you?
Look at that, brother. We got commercials, man. Can you believe that? You've got a newspaper, and we've got, like, commercials, man. I made it. And you know
Yes,
what?
you did. Yes, you did.
And you not being at the New York Times looks so much healthier than I remember you 20 years ago, man. Greatest thing you ever did was leave that dump.
Well, you followed right after I did, didn't you?
Yeah, man. Like, you work your ass off. You know what you're talking about. You don't get any respect, and you find yourself doing circles, and you went and did what's important to you, which is, are you also the publisher? You're the founder and publisher of the Haitian Times, yeah?
Yes, I am.
So this is my friend Karen Dumas, by the way, the former basically shadow mayor of the city of Detroit. Karen?
Hi, Gary. How are you?
Okay.
Nice to meet
Good,
you.
you?
Thank you. I'm
Same
fine.
here.
All right, Gary, let's get to this. Listen, there's a group of 9, like Haiti. There's the national police are failed. The gangs control the ports, led by a former national cop, Jimmy Charazet, known as Barbeque. They've blockaded the fuel depots in Port-au-Prince. Hunger's starting to become widespread. Hospitals are closed because they don't have the fuel. There's a cholera outbreak. Big protests in the capital today. What is the situation in Haiti, Port-au-Prince specifically, as we speak?
Well, the situation as we speak has been ongoing for 4 years now. And I want to take your viewers and listeners back to this because so you get a better understanding of what's happening today. 4 years ago, 2008, during the World Cup, the IMF pressured the Haitian government to stop subsidizing fuel. And overnight, the price of fuel went up about 50%. And that people took to the streets. There was major protests. There was a lockdown. The political parties, the syndicates, and they just protest such draconian measure. And this went on for a while until last year in 2021, July 7th, the president was assassinated. What that did is took the country into a lawlessness where there was no one in charge. Right now, you have a interim prime minister. There's no president yet. There are elections, but those haven't been. No one is even thinking about elections right now, to be quite honest. And so, meanwhile, the gangs became even much more powerful. They've controlled the city, which is the capital and most important city in the country. It has been basically isolated the gangs. They've taken the main arteries that take you from the north to the south. So Port-au-Prince is in the west, and so it has been isolated. Nothing can be done. Nothing gets done without approval. And lately, they've been rather emboldened. And school hasn't opened and this year, so we're entering November and no school. And protests every day are trying to force the prime minister from power, and he has held on steadfastly because he has the support of the State Department, who see him as an honest broker, as someone that can do a transition, but without any evidence that it's capable. And so essentially, Charlie, this is sort of like the background as to what you're saying today.
So UN Ambassador Linda Thomas Greenfield read from a draft to the Security Council, a resolution that proposes this, quote, a limited, carefully scoped, non-UN mission led by a partner country with the deep necessary experience required for such an effort to be effective, unquote. Does that mean the United States is once again preparing to put military boots on the ground in Haiti?
Yes, I mean that's an easy answer. Yeah, I mean the current government made a formal request to the U.S. and the UN for military intervention. So it's a matter of when, not if. The reason why you haven't seen any movement is because of the midterm election looming in a couple of weeks now.
Say that again, brother. Wait a minute. Say that again. Why?
There's a midterm elections looming, and Biden doesn't want to risk anything. And military intervention would be highly popular, both in Haiti and among Haitian Americans. And so you haven't seen any movement. But right now, as we speak, I have friends who are former and current cops in the NYPD and Miami-Dade police force who are in Haiti working and training the Haitian National Police Force.
So you said the Haitians don't want us. Haitian Americans don't believe it's a particularly good idea. How will we be perceived? And in that question, give us a little history, maybe modern, maybe going back to Aristide, not all the way back to 1915, about what we've done there, what the UN's done there, and why people who are going hungry, battling cholera, don't have fuel, still don't want our help in there.
Well, if you go back to Aristide was elected in 1990. And it was
the first democratically elected president in the history of Haiti.
Yes. And he was not the chosen one by the U.S. And he was overthrown about 6 months later after he sworn into office. And then the U.S. sent President Clinton, Bill Clinton, sent 20,000 to restore democracy. And that restoration of democracy led to Arkansas dumping its rice in Haiti, destroying the rice industry in the country. And so people still remember. Then Aristide came back to office. He was once again overthrown. And so by that point, people just lost their appetite for democracy. They realized it's a ruse. If they don't vote for the chosen U.S. candidate, then that person does not last. And so what you've had in the last, since then, very few people voting for president. And so these governments have been weak because they don't have popular support. They have no mandate. They're just there doing the bidding of whoever is their patrons, maybe at the time, mostly the U.S. and the UN. And I think the reason why people are even much more reluctant this time about any military intervention is that the UN had a what you would call a disastrous experiment and building democracy in Haiti. It failed miserably. The cholera of which you speak, Charlie, was brought in by UN troops, and the UN mission did very little to stabilize the country. It allowed for some elections, obviously, yes, but it really didn't help build the institutions that needed to have a democratic society. And so the gangs basically laid low, waited. Once the UN left, then they started their operations more fiercely.
And sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
The UN peacekeepers brought in cholera.
Yes.
And it killed many
Scientifically
people.
proven, 10,000 people died.
And they've never acknowledged it or apologized for it. And the UN was there for a better part of a decade. Is that correct?
Yes, indeed. They were. But they found it trying to say that, it was not scientifically proven. It was them. But every scientist who studied this just linked it directly back to the missions that was from the
but that's why we're even arguing about where it started. The UN is there in a humanitarian effort and couldn't help squelch cholera. I mean, no matter where it came from, they failed. And here we go again.
Absolutely.
And now what we have is the president was assassinated last year. There's the unelected interim prime minister, Ariel Henry, clinging to power, backed by the U.S. with no elections in sight. Protest today. Is he seen, Henry, as an American stooge? And are we about ready to jump into another civil war?
Well, yeah, absolutely. Yes to all the questions. He has the only support he has is of the State Department and the White House. People. Here's the problem, Charlie. The UN does not have credibility in Haiti, obviously, and the UN will be the first to admit it. I'm not the one. It's just not anything radical what I'm saying. This is really accepted dogma. And so now, what the U.S. is trying to do is trying to get Canada and Mexico, out of the question.
Mexico,
I think, that's out of the question.
My God,
it's not going to play any lead in this. I think you most likely to see Canada. There's a large Haitian community in Canada.
May I pause? We have very many listeners in Canada, and I think they'll be very interested. And Canadians are very good people. They have good soul. They want to help. And I would really advise you all in Windsor, our good friends over there, and everywhere else around the great country of Canada, to listen to Garry Pierre-Pierre, Pulitzer Prize winner, founder of the Haitian Times. Listen to what the man's telling you. Please, Garry, go ahead.
Well, yeah, because Canada, as you say, Charlie, is seen as an honest broker, as someone, as a country, as a government that can be fair. And you notice they just sold the Haitian government some armored vehicle to help the police fight off the gangs. And you notice that the American officials have been very quiet on any operations. But I will restate my comment from earlier that it's a matter of when, because the reality is the government has lost control. Again, imagine this, Detroit, Windsor, your children haven't gone to school in almost 2 months. And this is something that has been happening for quite a long time, interrupted school year. There hasn't been an uninterrupted school year for decades because of problem. But, there's a lot of people want to help Haiti, they say, but they don't want to go to the root cause of the problem, because the same people they're dealing with are the people who are oppressing the population. And so these guys, they are a small cadre of families who control the country. They own everything. In the United States, we talk about the 1%er. In Haiti, it's a 1/4%er.
Exactly.
Because it's just so small. But they're controlling. And so when the UN, whatever troops that comes in, it's going to be to their benefit, as it always
Garry, can you talk about what the root problem is? I mean, for those that, because I'm sitting here and I'm hearing all these kind of moving pieces, but from your perspective, from a subject matter expert, what is the root issue?
The root cause of the problem in Haiti, well, there are two, but the first one is that you have an oligarch class that controls everything. It's a black country, but it's highly segregated and highly color it plays a role. And the majority of the folks who own all these things, these families that I'm talking about, don't look like me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they are mostly foreigners. Many of them from the Middle East, from Lebanon,
Sounds like everywhere else.
So basically,
From the
what we have in
suburbs.
Haiti,
Sounds like Detroit.
That's what I'm saying. It sounds like every place else.
Sure does.
South
Exactly.
Africa,
And-
Detroit.
exactly. South Africa is a best example.
Mm-hmm.
It's supposed to be a black country, but you have
Yep.
a white minority rule in Haiti.
I didn't know
so
that.
these people
Yes.
don't. Yes.
Wow.
And so this is at the root cause. And a question that because they're white or whatever, but the question is they don't see any use of democratize the country in any sense, politically or economically. They love monopoly and they will kill for their monopoly. They've threatened presidents who have tried to go after their monopoly. Aristide was one example of that. And the assassination of Moïse, he was not a court, but a lot of it is that when they start talking about giving the majority of Haitian people a chance, things don't end well for you. This is the problem. But then these people, they're well educated. They went to U.S. schools, probably some of them the Ivy Leagues. And so when these diplomats come to Haiti, they take these people. So they just get into this trap. And they think that these people are the ones who are going to change Haiti. But no, these people are the very reasons why we keep having these over and over in Haiti.
So be careful of the hipsters here in the United States leading you into another conflict. By the way, let's go to our highly technical global GPS system for our viewers. Here we now go to this high-tech.
That's us.
Here it is. Let's show everybody where Haiti is. There, smack dab in the Caribbean, probably 120 miles from Florida. Garry?
A little bit further than that, about 300 miles or so miles. Yes, Cuba is 90. It's about 100.
Last time I checked, Key West was Florida, Garry. Do not correct the host. Go ahead, Mark.
Garry, because it is that close to us and even Puerto Rico, do we see people leaving by boat any way they can? Like when people leave Cuba, are people fleeing Haiti?
Absolutely. Just last week, the 100 and something boat people were washed in Puerto Rico. So people are just like escaping because to be quite honest, no one that I knew is still in Haiti. Everyone has left, whether US, Canada, France, the Dominican Republic, or those who can't how to escape because it's they've made the world so hard.
So that sounds like it's by design.
Yes, absolutely.
Well,
Absolutely.
let me ask you this, Garry. Let me ask you this. Then why is it at the Mexican border when refugees, people claiming asylum, just people trying to come in, they're allowed entry? You're either waiting for a immigration hearing or an asylum hearing, but we're putting Haitians and Haitians only on airplanes and sending them back to Haiti. Why is that?
Well, it's the color of our skin. It's that, people just don't want us a better life. It's ironic because most Haitians, would love to be if they could, but the reality is you can't. And so it's very.
Is my statement true? However, is my statement true?
Absolutely.
That is unbelievable to me.
Yeah, but that's where we are.
They've let a few the asylum plea is not going to go anywhere because according to they're not fleeing political problem, it's an economic problem. But if you look at Haiti, it's a political problem that has created an economic problem, basically. But they forget about the first one.
Right. Let's jump back here real quick to Jimmy Cherazet, known as Barbeque. He's the he is the leader of a consortium of gangs that control the north of the city. Is this correct? The fuel depots and whatnot. Barbeque, depends who you talk to. He says he got the nickname Barbecue because his mother sold fried chicken on the streets when he was a child. His enemies and detractors say it's because he's a butcher and he burns neighborhoods and villages and what have you. But Barbeque said the minute that Henri, the acting prime minister, is gone, if he was gone at 8 o'clock, that the fuel depot would be open at 8:05. So is this guy Robin Hood or is he a butcher?
He thinks of himself as a Robin Hood, but I think he's a combination of both. He's a butcher. Because here's a problem with Barbeque. In fact, a couple of weeks ago, I was with my cousin, and she's a doctor, and she was like, she told me that she was kind of intrigued by him because the message that he's telling people resonates because he's addressing some of the points that I was talking earlier. But like everything else, he's not clear. Most of the people who are in the leadership, whether you are the gang leader or political leader, not the people they're not the right messenger. And what he's talking about is actually resonating with people because that's the problem that we're talking about. And so let me give you a little background about Barbeque, who he is. He was sent by the government, by the police force, to carry out an operation. So there was a massacre ensued, and they put the blame on him. And he fled the force and became a gang leader. And so in many ways, he's fighting to clean this. He's trying to tell, they sent me to do this. I didn't voluntarily do this. This happened. And now they want to pin it on me. And so I'm going to go rogue. And this is Barbeque's story in a nutshell.
Wow. So, sum total here, Garry Pierre-Pierre, Pulitzer Prize winner, founder and publisher of the Haitian Times. In a nutshell, Garry, because the connection's getting a little bit hinky. We're damned if we do, and Haiti's damned if we don't.
Well, yes, this is where we've gotten ourselves. But the thing is, the U.S. could have put some pressure on the police because the police has been politicized more than the parliament because these prime ministers and this president use the police as sort of like their personal shock troops and not to guard the country, the citizen of the country. So a lot of police officers, they sympathize with the gangs. In fact, they are informants for the gangs.
Wow. Well, okay, Garry, over the next couple months, you will be the eyes and ears for the No Bullshit News Hour Nation about Haiti because there's no doubt in your mind that the United States is going to insert American troops into Haiti. Is this correct?
Well, I don't know if it's going to be military, but it's going to be some kind of intervention. We don't know that yet because there are too many people against. So, yeah, definitely. And special force, it may be a SWAT team. Because I spoke with a source of mine in the NYPD who told me in 3 months they can pacify the gangs. But it's never about the gang, it's after you do.
As is the long...
Can I just ask one thing before we end, Garry? I mean, I understand it's political power, but there's an economic advantage. What is there underlying asset or is there something there that is also highly sought after?
You mean what's the U.S. want?
Yes. Thank you, Charlie.
Well, that's a question that's always people have asked. And I think, to be quite honest, no refugees to come here. But they've gone about it the wrong way. There's natural resources, gold, even oil. And
sugar.
But, that industry is no longer viable. It was destroyed along with the other agricultural sector. Wow. I think in 2010, Bloomberg News published a story after the earthquake that because of the that oil, black liquid was seen in the northern Haiti. And that story was taken down, and we have never heard about that again. Hillary Clinton's brother, his firm, they got a mining contract in Haiti. So I don't know. I mean, these are the things that you heard through the grapevines, but this is nothing that I've been able to confirm through my reporting. So it's a very good question, and I think one that a lot of Haitians are asking themselves. What is it, and why couldn't the U.S. truly help Haiti? Because it could. I think the one group that would be able to help Haiti is the diaspora, but the diaspora is just getting its bearing about being an American, and so we're not ready to really insert the kind of
influence
force trying to be very forceful and a group that's listened to when it comes to Haiti. So we don't have it right now, but I think in 10 years or so, you will have a group of young and professional Haitian Americans with the skills, with the savviness to get the U.S. to do the right thing, because they would be by then third generation Americans, but they would have grown up reading the Haitian Times and listening to their parents talk about Haiti, and then they will be able to do something about it.
Oh, they won't, Gary. They won't know a goddamn thing. There'll be other kids that went to Harvard and they got jobs in Washington, and they just going with the status quo. And I mean, because Haiti itself was basically a slave plantation. It overthrew the French and the first nation to rule itself. And from then on, it's just been abused and manipulated. And I'm not sure. Maybe you got to go home, bro. I mean, this is your home too, but you got to go home. Tell them what the fuck.
I would love to if it was a level playing field, because if I go there, I know I'm going to be losing money and everything else.
It's not level here either, Gary.
Yeah. Come to Detroit.
Well, that's true. It's a lot less. That's true.
Well, if you get a development company, we can hook you up. Maybe build a skyscraper. We can give you some dollars. Or maybe
we don't need a skyscraper. It's a Caribbean. Right. We don't need skyscraper.
You can bring refugees there and put them in the skyscraper. We need the population here.
Put them in the Ren Center.
All right. Well, anyway, Garry Pierre-Pierre, Pulitzer Prize winner and the editor and founder of the Haitian Times. Thanks, brother, for being here. It's good to see you.
Same here, Charlie. It's been a long time. We have to keep in touch.
Yeah, I'll come see you, man.
All right. Take care. Thanks,
au revoir.
Thanks, Gary.
Au revoir.
That was a powerful piece.
Like that guy, there's a guy in the world that knows that I know. You know the concept of this program is we could talk about a million things, but we need some connection, somebody to trust. And like when I'm driving in a car and I'm starting to hear stories, something's going on, and that is not what they're telling. They're not telling us that we're going in or we're sending SWAT or there's a training. 1/4 or 1% minority running that place, or what the history is.
But you got to look at that, Charlie. Just like I said, I mean, like South Africa, it's the same thing. Like Detroit, it's the same thing.
But we do not see. We're sending our brothers and our cousins and our neighbors' children to do it. What's the plan? Yeah. And we're not talking about it till after an election.
Yeah, that's the key too.
And Windsor, keep your eye on that. You heard what Gary said. It might be you all, and nobody's against humanitarian efforts, but they never seem to accomplish, like Somalia.
That doesn't sound humanitarian to me. That's the thing.
We don't know what's the plan. Like here, let me say it again.
I mean,
let me say it again.
All right.
Before people came late. Here's what the United States said to the UN Security Council, a resolution. We drafted a limited, carefully scoped, non-UN mission led by a partner country in the Security Council, which would be us, with the deep necessary experience, that sounds like us, required for such an effort to be effective.
At what?
Right.
That's the question.
Right. Now, before we go on to how this plays out across the world, let me just, Luke Nowacki wanted to do this.
Yeah.
Luke Nowacki said, forget my commercial spot. Give it to a small business.
That's cool.
Yep.
That's good.
And the small business is Clean Sneaker Care. They're now at the Oakland Mall. It's a footwear and lifestyle brand with a focus on sneakers and other lifestyle goods. This includes designer bags and ball caps. They offer care products and in-house cleaning for clothing, collectible sneakers, etc. Info at cleansneakercare.com. 313-969-4836. We wish them all the best.
That was
Clue,
nice.
we wish you all the best. Corrine, we wish you the best.
That was nice of Luke.
Yeah.
Seriously, it was.
Seriously, he's a deep dude. Now, China, they had their 5-year, convention of the People's Party. And what did they do? They put explicit language in their constitution about Taiwan, calling for its repatriation. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Repatriation.
Yeah, bringing it back in the fold. Yeah.
Quote, the unification of the motherland. So, China's rattling sabers. We've got Joe Biden talking about loosely, conferring with nobody that we will send troops. Nancy Pelosi's flying over there. Whoa.
Yeah, this is a no-win situation for us in any shape or fashion.
Here, go ahead. Point to where China is with our new map, our high-tech GPS.
That's a custom.
Look at that,
that's
Joey's always going to that's Kazakhstan, Joey.
That's a custom mop stick.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's a high-tech laser pointer.
Oh.
Otherwise known as a mop handle.
Oh,
there you go, Joey. You're that's Asia. Yep.
And then here's Taiwan.
Go ahead, Joey. Go there. And there's Taiwan.
And here's where all the ports are.
Now, the history of Taiwan is this. Chiang Kai-shek and the National Party were in bed with the United States during World War II. And we were also in bed with Mao and the communists. They had a civil war. Chiang Kai-shek and the nationalists went to Taiwan.
Mm-hmm.
So
They
this
were
is
exiled, right? Pushed out.
they
Well,
just
left,
they
yeah.
just ran, yeah. And so now we've had this thing since post World War II come into a head, and we don't know what we're doing. And now we're having a midterm election as China's inserting this into its constitution. This is what you vote about when you're voting for a member of Congress.
Yeah.
And nobody's asking anything about Taiwan or Haiti or the border or inflation. What are we getting?
A losing Lions game. That's what people are talking about. I'm just, but I'm saying you said earlier, Charlie, people will cite, sports statistics and that before they know what's going on. So between that, and as Mark said, the whole focal point on this election is abortion, and everything else is just on the back burner.
And it's all abortion, and things are going so badly, and the Republicans are being so badly outspent. It's still neck and neck.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're looking at like Michigan, like Tudor Dixon with no dollars. The Republican challenger to Whitmer. It's within 5, 4 maybe. Who knows? Right?
Yeah, that's because of inflation. And to Karen's point, people will focus on anything that is affecting them, and nothing
immediately affecting them.
Yeah, nothing affects you more than going to the grocery store, filling up your tank.
But that's it depends what poll you're
Sure.
listening to. Okay, inflation could be one. We're also hearing from the media that abortion's a big deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the media is awful. The media is awful because what does Proposition 3 actually really say? Right? What they'll give you they're arguing over what it means. They're saying that's hysteria, that it isn't about sterilization or, abortion on demand for a 12-year-old or no parental notification. But they're not actually getting us clear answers. So what we did is, so far, half of the debate is in place. John Birch, who's the former Solicitor General of the state of Michigan, that means he argued for the state in front of the Supreme Court. He's now in private practice. He's a pro-life person, great legal mind. On the right, wants to tell you how if Prop 3 goes through, nothing can override it. And then on the left, Stephen Liddell of Dykema, who was the lawyer for Whitmer's transition team. He drafted Proposition 3. He's saying what Bursch is saying is not true. I called him. I said, would you like to come on the program this Thursday and debate? He said he'd like to, but he has to call his clients, which is Planned Parenthood and ACLU. And Karen, you've tried to get a hold of them.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
So they have appeared or given quotes on other programs.
Right.
But I've never seen them together, giving us the legal argument.
Yeah, that would be great.
Because I believe by the polls and talking to people that the majority of us believe that what we have right now, right, up to viability, parental notification is what we'd like.
Right.
Which one, if we were to vote against Prop 3 and go back to the draconian 1931, only an abortion if a woman's going to die, which you can't even call abortion.
Right.
That's just a life-saving medical procedure. Which one would be able to get us back to the center? Is Proposition 3 actually this? Which one would I vote for Prop 3 or against it? I don't think we know, and it's just commercials.
Yep, that's what it is.
Commercials on the extreme,
on
each
extreme,
side,
right?
You
So
know?
So I'm really hoping.
When the fact is, most abortions are done with a drug before week 14 or week 10.
Interesting.
In that area, like I think it's like 85% are done there, but you hear a lot about
But
9 months, or you hear a lot about rape and incest, which
would
are
a
both
plan
small.
Would a Plan B also be considered? I'm just
No,
that's. I
this
mean, if you
is-
want to get into the technicality of it,
why
does
it's
that constitute an abortion as well?
It's a messy
or could
topic.
it?
Yeah, that's why I'd love to hear from both sides. Explain
Like
these
the
answers.
the brains,
yeah,
the brains,
the people that wrote it and the people that are fighting it.
yeah, the brains. You know, no more like on one hand on the other, and it's some dipshit out of what is that? What is that school over there? Specs Howard.
Well, it's gone, but yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, they're done. Yeah,
Deservedly so.
yeah. I
Jeez.
think it's Lawrence Tech now. Ate them up.
Oh, they bought him up?
Yeah, side note.
Because I mean, you can't be a reporter without learning a few. You know, you got to study constitutional
You
law.
shouldn't be a reporter,
Right?
Yeah, good
You
point.
can, but you shouldn't.
Good
Get
point.
out there, put some makeup on, and look pretty, and on the one hand, on the other hand.
Yeah, in a way, Karen, if you have a phone, you're a reporter, right?
That's what I'm
I mean,
saying.
Everybody films everything.
Everybody is a reporter.
Everyone has a voice.
Yeah. So you shouldn't, but people do.
So I'm really hoping because that's smart, and this should have been on. This is bigger than which party's going to have the state house. To me, if you're
gonna make
talking
a big
about
difference.
local issue, statewide issue, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then this should have been a debate.
100%. Yeah.
And it wasn't, and nobody even tried to get one, and I'm trying to get one.
Okay. Well, I hope
Well,
you
hopefully
do.
his clients, you said half of it said, and so you need the guy that wrote it needs to hear from his client.
And I respect both of these gentlemen very much in their minds.
But let me say this.
Let them talk.
If their clients don't allow them to, that speaks volumes as well.
Always.
I mean, that would say a whole lot.
You mean if
I'm
Planned
saying if they-
Parenthood and ACLU,
if they can't-
Steve can't get the red green light,
Exactly.
that it tells you a lot.
Yes, it would.
It would tell you a lot about the scumminess of politics.
Just politics, and it would almost seem that it's being positioned or ill positioned, or that there's something that they're hiding. People keep talking about transparency.
Yeah.
But you have to be transparent in order to to support transparency. You can't do that if you aren't talking about something that you're supporting and putting a ton of money behind.
See,
Why wouldn't you?
But it that's where like the anger in me comes up, because it's maybe they're hiding something, maybe they're not. You're not informing me, and all I want to do is be informed.
And if they want your vote, you have a right to be informed, and they have the obligation to inform you.
Indeed. And we have a right to know what's going to happen in Haiti, in China, in Ukraine, on the border.
Yep.
So we have local issues. We have... Come on, to me, you got to do better than this. And again, nobody is really pinning, the people that had the power during COVID to any factual questions.
That's true. I had a reporter ask me the other day. They sent me a text and say, "Hey, if you had the opportunity to ask Governor Whitmer something."
Wait, that's so good. That's so good. That's some bozo in makeup's like, Karen, what should I
They said,
ask?
"What question would you ask the governor?" I said,
Oh, that's easy. Why won't you come on Charlie's show?
Well, yeah, that. But we've asked her that too. And I said, "What does she feel like was her biggest accomplishment in office, and what was her biggest failure?" That's what I said.
Here's what I would say.
I wasn't giving them our stuff
That
anyway.
is so open for spinning it in
It
whatever
is.
way
I know,
she
but
wants to
that's,
answer
I mean,
it.
first of all, it's a text message, and I didn't know.
Sure.
But
You
I'm
just wanted to be
saying,
gone with it.
I wanted to, but that was the first thing off my head. But why
I
are you
would-
asking me?
I would pin it to nursing homes.
But that's not for me to do for somebody else's stuff. That's the stuff that we talk about.
Well,
I mean,
the kid. Here's the deal.
they're not going to ask.
We
and they're
shut
not gonna
down
happen.
everything. Everything in the world is fucked up because of COVID, right? The money, everything else, the shortages, the value of money. We did it from the UK to China to Detroit to take care of the old people. We knew it then. We knew it now. We know it going forward. Why did you commingle them? And she'll try to slip out of that, and that deserves a follow-up. Why didn't you count them, right? And what are we going to do in the future for the next thing that comes along?
That's too complicated. That's too complicated.
No.
Governing's
Well,
complicated.
I'm saying that this is the thing. People can't be you. Do you understand what I'm saying? I could take a question that you would ask and give it to Jesus. It's not going to resonate the same.
You mean baby Jesus?
Baby Jesus, black Jesus, any Jesus. But I'm saying that has to come from them. I didn't know what the circumstances were, and I'm not going to take something that you have publicly asked and demanded an answer for. Yeah, it's just not going to do that.
No, you answered that question correctly. Just
Well, here's the
but
thing.
there's real questions to be asked.
To the
There are.
whippersnapper, ask specifics.
There you go.
But that's for them to figure out.
I know.
You got people in jobs all the time call and ask how to do their job. I don't know.
Really? I'm going to call you next time. I need
I
help.
can't do your job.
Yeah, you
Mark.
can. Anybody can.
We got some good news. A listener of ours, a watcher, Monica, watched the program, saw the story about the two babies that burned in Flint and the firefighters that didn't bother checking, and the chief ruled that you lied, that you didn't check, you said you did, wants to know why they're still on the job, and it's good. And now MLive/Flint Journal wrote a story about it.
Great.
Little movement. Everybody else should pick that up.
Beautiful.
Well, Charlie, see, you are carving a path and parting the waters, if you will. I mean, everybody's picking up the trickle that you splash, but that helps.
It's baby Jesus parts the waters. That's his charm around here.
I wish you guys could see him.
All right. Well, we got a. The last thing is, I was planning to go to the border before the election, but it's my sweet baby's 16th birthday.
Oh, yeah, you got it. She's 16.
Wow.
Gonna be 16 and cannot do. So
my God.
I'm gonna have to go after. But ask your representative running for Congress what your position is on the border, on Haiti, on China, on the Ukraine and the open checkbook. What's the plan?
They don't know.
The budget.
They don't know, Charlie.
Spending money, printing money, and we in Michigan will decide what we as a community are going to do on abortion.
Just like the whole student loan debt thing, that's a carrot. They knew that was going to happen. I mean, it's just, but hey, now Joe Biden has tried to make good on his promise, so you guys can back off of me. They know this stuff. Everything is strategic. None of this is haphazard, and none of it is random. And only the people behind the scenes write the answers to the questions that your elected officials answer. So that's who you need to ask, because they stand there and read. They know ahead of time. They don't know.
So if you want to get into politics, learn how to write snappy Twitter feeds. All right, we'll see you Thursday.